Good morning, everybody. I see little Roy here this morning. Nice to see you. And Billy and Billy and Derek. Good morning. Who else do we have here? Bill? Who? Jimmy? Derek? Nerdy. There's nerds. Little Roy. Derek again. Classic. There she is. Excuse me, Kitty Catzilla. Good to be here, little Roy. Exceptional Aussie, the Wizzy Wazzy Wazerton. The man with the green shower curtain. If you guys have ever been to Wazzy's house, he has a green shower curtain. And his wife says, "Who's the man behind the curtain?" And he pops out and he goes, "I'm the Waz." Good morning. Good morning, Mushy. What color's your shower curtain? Waz's is green. Emerald green, to be exact. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, summer. It's almost autumn. It's very close to autumn. But it's still summer. Dando wants to be the solution. I agree. Don't be the problem. Good morning, everybody. Sarah Bear and Sue Littly. Summer, it's super hot here too. But nothing like Arizona and Nevada. They're in the 110s and teens. They're in the 100 and teens. I used to be able to handle it back when I was younger. I was working in that environment outside, helping build homes. So it's like, I don't know how I did it. Tweet and don't queet. That's funny, Dan. Good morning, everybody. Jimmy Boylan. Really, Derek, I'm the opposite. I can handle the cold better. Good morning, you divine Laura. Good morning, Sammy P. Sue, you were missed as well. Nerds. Good morning to everybody. We're going to get started a little quicker this morning than usual, but let's wait till there's let's get 30 people here. Okay, in the meantime, good morning to Gypsy. Good morning, Tribal Science. He basically used to work for the National Geographic as a scientist. Mark Z with Dawn lurking. We know Dawn lurks. We have a lot of lurkers. I hear from them later during the day. I get all kinds of comments later from the lurkers. Well, that's cute. Monkey misses Gypsy. That means Monkey and Gypsy have met. That's cute. That's even cuter. Right, Derek? I said the same thing the other day, remember? Thank you, Dawn, for letting Mark hang out with us. Paranoid goats. So Paranoid, I was waiting to see you here today. That's cool, Mark. Let her know we said hi. Jimmy, you've never been a lurker. You're like, you just don't necessarily need to say a lot. Good morning. Let's turn this thing around. Let's turn this thing around and talk to Paranoid Goats. Paranoid Goats, will you please, Paranoid, in your comment right here, will you please write your YouTube channel? What is your YouTube? You didn't do anything wrong, Perry. Goaty. You're going to be Goaty. I'm going to forget the paranoid part in general. Goaty, would you give us your YouTube page address? Goaty just qualified. He just got qualified. Paranoid Goats, one word. We don't have to put an at. Derek, do we put an at in front of it? Or no? Nippy, you tell your Goaty she's Goaty? I bet she is. No space. Okay, no space. But do you put an at in front of it? So, Goaty is qualified to go live now. Okay. So, all one word, Paranoid Goats, no space, and it comes right up. So, Goaty is going live. He is qualified now to go live on his YouTube channel. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Goaty, did you say you were going live today? Are you going live today? I'm trying to get an announce so you can get a few people come over there and check you out. He said yes, he's going live. What time, Goaty? What do you mean you kicked myself off? Kicked myself off. Oh, so it is an at. Okay, listen up, you guys. You have to put an at in front of the Paranoid Goats. And 8 p.m. Central tonight, Goaty's going live. Okay? Good morning, Ben. So those of you that have an opportunity, aren't doing anything this evening, head over to Paranoid Goats on YouTube, and let's check out what old Christopher's got going on over there. Okay? At Paranoid Goats. I'm very, very happy for you, Goaty. Good job getting that handled and getting that going. It's not always the easiest thing. Okay? We're gonna go stare at his goats or something. I'm not sure what his content's gonna be, but I'm sure it's gonna be wonderful because you're talking about a very, very intelligent, nice man. We had for almost 3 years, he managed my website for me. Goaty took care of the website. We took it down about 6 months ago when we were getting ready to move. And we haven't redone it because, I don't know, I feel like I'm not ready. You guys can get almost everything else just straight off my email. Okay? So emailing away. Good morning to everybody. Derek Anderson just showed you where my email is, and that's a great way to contact me. The Detroit Mush Lab at gmail.com. Right, Nerdy? Always a good guy. 8 Central, Marky. It did, Paranoid. We did a good work, didn't we? You, myself, and Sandman. We did good work for a long time. And we never got in trouble. Whew, okay. Never got in trouble over there. And it was just, I was almost feeling like something was coming down the hatch. It's a good thing to slow down in some areas when you're working with Schedule 3. So we're going to talk about schedules here in a minute. But before we do, let's talk about tigers. Right, Sam? Just barely made it. Did I say talk about tigers? Yeah. We'll talk about lions too. Is it true that a pride of lions often has more than one male? A pride of lions, which means a group. Is it true that a pride of lions often has more than one male? Or does one pride have one male? Which is it? Only one male to the pride? Or there's a few of them in there? Yeah, we're not talking about cubs, Joe. We're talking about the big shot of the tribe, of the pride. Here's the answer. I thought it was 1-2, Dando. I thought one guy and he ran the rest of the crew. But I was wrong. There are many instances of multiple males belonging to the same pride. Brothers, once they leave their birth pride, will often form a new pride together. Really? Come on, bro. We're going to go get a bunch. 2 or more brothers that are cast out into the savannah on their own will look to take over a single male's place in another existing pride. There's 2 of us, there's only one of him. We like his pride, we're chasing him out. Nature. How do you like that one? All male lions have manes, right? Is that true? I mean, how do you tell the difference? Nifty, it's pretty brutal, but how smart of them, they're like, hey, there's 2 of us, and there's only one of him. We're going to go snatch his pride. Male lions have manes. Paranoid Goat says nope, and I'm going to listen to him tonight at 8 Central. All male lions do not have to have manes. In some parts of Africa, males have scanty manes or even no manes at all. One of the main theories behind this is that male lions lost their manes as a response to the extremely hot climate in the African savannah. They got a haircut in nature and it never grew back. What continent are wild tigers native to? Wild tigers. What continent? That's right, Kim. What continent? Are they from the Asian continent or the African continent? Asian or African? Tigers. Where'd they originally pop up in? You guys are all saying India. That's interesting. Asian or African? Well, tigers are actually native to Asia, where they are presently found. You guys are seeing them in India quite a bit, I guess. They're presently found in 14 countries, and these countries are referred to as the Tiger Range states. Range. That's where the tigers are all from, originally from Asia. Tigers hate water. Yes, India is in Asia, absolutely. But it isn't Asia. And it's not the only place tigers are. Tigers are in 14 different countries. So India would be the wrong answer, but it's also right. How about tigers and water? How about tigers and water? What's the story with tigers and water? Cats don't like water. I mean, they like to drink it, but cats don't like swimming in the water, do they? Classic seems to know a lot about tigers. All of Classic's answers have been right. Higgs. There's Higgs. He's usually right. You guys are all right. Tigers like water. And they're also excellent swimmers. Really. They like it. Tigers also need to drink regularly, and they often slip into pools of water to cool off in the hot weather. Today's tigers are descendants of the prehistoric saber-toothed tiger. True or false? Is that true or is that false? Today's tigers are descendants of the saber-toothed tiger. Classic's still batting 100. You guys are right. It's false. If you want to know anything about tigers, call Classic. Okay? Saber-toothed tiger species that we know from fossils are a completely different species, not even remotely close to the modern tiger. Dawn, have a sip of your coffee for me. Saber-toothed tigers. Let me tell you a quick story about Pops never stops in the morning without telling a story. My aunt, my mom's sister, she only had one sister, my Aunt Barbara. Aunt Barbara went to school and got a degree in paleontology, study of fossils and dinosaurs. And everybody like, what are you getting a degree in paleontology for? She went to work. Have you guys ever heard of the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles? It's a naturally occurring area where there's tar that is bubbled up from the ground, from the Earth's crust. Pools of tar. And then rain will come in and it'll rain and you'll get a layer of water, and leaves and twigs and things like that on top of the tar. So it'll actually look like pools or little lakes for the animals to drink out of. And the animals will come down to the water, and when they step in it to drink, they get trapped by the tar, sucked under, and miraculously the tar keeps their bones completely intact for centuries upon centuries upon centuries. So we have found complete and full dinosaur carcasses. And they get it out of the tar, and they have methods for cleaning all the tar, and they have the most impressive collection of ancient fossils out of the La Brea tar pits. The fascinating place to go, fascinating park museum situation. My aunt got a job there working as a tour guide right as she got out of college in paleontology. Slowly but surely she worked her way up. My aunt ended up becoming the director of the La Brea tar pits. She ran the whole show. It was super cool because we had an inside. She would take us on, the family, the kids, the cousins, and we could go into the back room and see the scientists and the technicians and the other students and interns all cleaning the dinosaur bones. There were drawers and drawers and drawers full of stuff that they had found in these tar pits. One of the oldest complete skeletons of a woman was found in the La Brea tar pits. I forget the girl's name now. They named her. They ended up finding out it was an indigenous woman, and there was a big dent, a big smash in the back of her skull. So they feel like she was probably a murder victim, and somebody, after murdering her, went to throw her in the water, and there she is in the tar pits, and her body was preserved. The reason I'm mentioning all of this right now is the saber-toothed tiger. They found remains of saber-toothed tigers in the La Brea tar pits, an abundance of them. Finds out that saber-toothed tiger was huge back in its population days on the west coast of the United States. Huge, just like roving bands of saber-toothed tigers. And that tooth that is the saber tooth, I don't know whatever happened. My aunt gave me one. I had a fossilized tooth of a saber-toothed tiger once for 10, 15 years. I don't know. Lost it in relocating, or maybe when I went in the service or something. I don't know what I did. It's a shame that I lost that thing, because I would treasure it today. But then she started a campaign, my Aunt Barbara. She started a campaign to turn the saber-toothed tiger into California state fossil. And she was, I'm going to say, the most integral part of the campaign, because she was just passionate about it. And now California recognizes the saber-toothed tiger as its state fossil, and I give a lot of credit to my Aunt Barbara for that, and all the other people she worked with. But she was big on that. Is that a cool story, or wait a minute? Every time I think of saber-toothed tigers, I gotta tell a story about Aunt Barbara. And she was one really, really sharp lady. And, like I'm saying, she worked for the La Brea tar pits for, I'd say, 40 years. And she ended up running the whole show. Pretty cool story. Saber-toothed tigers. Tigers are super, super aggressive, am I right? They'll attack a human. Kim, she was super. It was real fun. And it was, I remember she would arrange, especially with her nephews and nieces, to get our classes to go there to do field trips. And so whenever we were going to go do a field trip to the La Brea tar pits, who was the big shot in class? This guy. That's your aunt? It sure is, man. You should see the back rooms. Yeah, I got a big shot day out of the deal. I was like, I must have done 5 or 6 field trips with classes. I love museums too. I could spend weeks in museums. I love museums. Tigers will attack humans the second they get a chance. Not even close to truth. Tigers actually go out of their way to avoid human contact. They're like, no way, I'm not interested. We're going to avoid you. They're pretty smart. Stay away from the humans. Okay? But it's true that tigers do like smaller prey versus larger prey, right? Given a choice, the tiger's always going to go for the smaller prey. No. Tigers prefer, if given a choice, tigers will always go for a larger prey because killing a larger prey is more energy efficient and will feed them for a longer time. Basically, they're looking for food in the refrigerator. That's enough about tigers this morning. Saber-toothed tigers are the cool ones. So today is Discuss Psychedelic Business Day. Today is Discuss Psychedelic Business Day. Okay? We need to, you guys have seen me consistently be looking at the businesses and the interaction of the business community along with the psychedelic community. Why I keep my finger on the pulse is really basic. At the end of the day, they're not going to skate. That's correct, Salmon. It was called a Smilodon. That is exactly right. That's what the saber-toothed tiger was called, a Smilodon. You're a very, very smart lady. They're not going to, basically our legislators, they're not going to change the schedule, reschedule psilocybin from Schedule 3 to no schedule at all, or maybe even just bring it down to Schedule 1. They're not going to do legalizing. They're not going to do a whole bunch of stuff if there isn't at the level that they're thinking, if there isn't a bigger presence behind it than a bunch of people that grow tubs of shrooms in their basement. They don't have the motivation for it. At the end of the day, it's going to take bigger motivation than Pops' Detroit Grow House. Now, you will see cities like Detroit that have decriminalized psilocybin. They want to spend their resources on different stuff. There's really no attraction to going out hunting down psilocybin criminals and prosecuting them. And so they've put it on the back burner, but you still need to understand that it still has a ways to go before we legislate it completely. Kim's agreeing with me. They need a bigger motivation than Potts' tubs and NBP's tubs. It's an unfortunate truth of our planet. It's part of the creepy dream of the world. We wish it wasn't that way, of course. But when something is a certain way, oftentimes we find that we have to figure out how to get along to go along. Do you know what I'm talking about? We have to make compromises. And for me, and where I see it, big businesses coming in, and they're going to open the door for legalization of psilocybin and psychedelics for therapeutic reasons. And of course, they're looking to profit from it. They're not doing this for nothing. But I could go along behind and reap the benefits of the legalization as I understand what's going on. And I'm not kicking and screaming against it because that's the natural course of events in any economy / world economy. As much as I hate it. So, having said that, I keep my eye on what's going on in the business world relative to psychedelics very close. I keep my nose very close to the glass and I watch, and I'm involved with one particular company, and you can start to see a lot of things. You can read tea leaves, if that makes sense. We can read the economic tea leaves. I told you guys 3 years ago on this program that by the year 2030, 70% of of therapies for mental health and wellness are going to include some kind of psychedelic therapy. And that wasn't just some radical prediction. It was based off of me watching what's going on and charting. Who knew spores? Florida did. Florida. Let's talk about 6 psychedelic drug companies. I know we're going to boo and hiss because they're pharma, but we're going to boo and hiss. But I'm also going to get in the wake. They're the boat on the river. There's a wake. They're cutting through, and I'm in the wake, following behind. Yeah, Florida took a big step backwards. Huge step backwards. It's a real shame. It's a lot has to do with their governor and him wanting to. I think he's looking for future opportunities. Let me put it that way, without politics. 6 psychedelic drug companies that are aiming to revolutionize mental health treatment. Let me tell you about those 6 companies. Is this something that's interesting to you guys? I know it's not the most interesting, but do you think you should know more? Should you just you don't need to go look it up yourself, because you know Pops is going to talk to you about it about once every 2 weeks. We'll throw some information out there, you put it away, and you know what, get an idea, a thumbnail sketch of what's going on out there. I think it's incumbent upon me in the position, in the direction that I'm wanting to go, to share this information. Perfect, thank you guys. Psychedelic drugs have the potential to become an effective treatment for crippling, there you go, Michael, for crippling mental health conditions such as depression. In this article, we take a look at the top 6 psychedelic companies leading their particular niches in the field of psychedelic medicines. For decades, research into the therapeutic properties of psychedelic drugs was almost snuffed out. As a recreational use of the substances was banned in the US and Europe. In recent years, however, an emerging industry is now coalescing around the potential of hallucinogenic compounds such as LSD, psilocybin, and MDMA to treat mental health conditions such as depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. We could add a whole lot more in there. End-of-life therapy is getting big now for psychedelics. End-of-life therapy. People that are, I'm just not looking forward to dying. Fear. Psychedelics are helping really eliminate that. There's cancer treatment. There's postpartum treatment. There's menstrual help for women. There's, right now, what these molecules are going to help with, it's just unbelievable. While there are already a number of approved approaches to treating depression, many only last a short time. They cause side effects, and they can't help all patients. Psychedelic drugs are increasingly seen as a potential for long-lasting alternatives. One of the first psychedelic drugs to be approved in the US for treating mental health was a nasal spray from the drug ketamine in 2019. Branded as Spravato and marketed by Janssen, the drug was greenlit for treatment-resistant depression. However, the drug also carries risks of adverse effects, including high blood pressure, sedation, and with this drug, the potential for drug abuse. Ketamine has a great potential for abuse. It isn't the same molecular compounds as psilocybin and psilocin, which have virtually no risk of addiction or abuse. The hunt is now on for the psychedelic compounds that are capable of treating mental health disorders long-term with fewer side effects. The first company. What did Herbie say? I love it when Herbie says, I know, Herbie, what a crazy idea. Atai Life Sciences. It's spelled A-T-A-I. A-T-A-I. They're headquartered in Germany. And they have recently raised from a private placement $50 million. Atai Life Sciences was set up in 2018 in response to what the founders saw as a lack of innovation in the mental health treatment landscape. The next one. Well, this is back to Atai still. To finance its drug development and business operations, Atai Life Science has raised a considerable amount of funding. Most recently, the company closed a $63.25 million public offering and then received another $50 million in private placement money, which is said to be used for general corporate purposes, including working capital to help develop clinics and clinic development programs. Next, this is a company that I'm familiar with, Compass Pathways. They're headquartered in the United Kingdom. A pioneer in the psychedelic drug field, the company Compass Pathways is developing a synthetic form of psilocybin, the main psychedelic compound in magic mushrooms. That's where they need farmers. It has been suggested that this hallucinogenic drug can rewire the brain to treat depression long-term after just 1 or 2 doses. In Compass Pathways' lead program, the drug is given during supervised therapy sessions where patients are provided a capsule containing psilocybin, an eye mask to help them focus, and a specially designed music playlist. Compass expects to share a 26-week data study from their first phase 3 study once all of its patients have completed Section A. We should be receiving this information from this huge study that they've done in early 2026. In January, Compass valued itself at $150 million for a public offering, saying that it intends to use the net proceeds to help fund new ongoing phase 3 trials. I have opinions about the synthetic psilocybin, and one size doesn't fit all, you guys. The synthetic it's coming up with it's a different approach. It's administering things from a clinical perspective rather than a anecdotal perspective. And it's a fast thing. And the effects don't last long. And you're able to continue, it might be a 2-hour therapy session versus an 8 to 10 hour therapy session. And some people don't have the opportunity to give 8 to 10 hours to a session. And while it may not be for me, I don't want to be the judge and tell other people that it's not for them, just because it doesn't match where I'm going. So it's all, I'm not sitting in judgment on anybody that's trying to move the needle. Okay? I'm not going to sit in judgment on that. And I'm just going to say thank you, Compass Pathways, and we mentioned them last week because, they're in their lobbying Congress right now, too. The next one is Inveric Biosciences. It's headquartered in the United States. Yep, gypsy to each their own. And if that's what it takes to get somebody help, then let's get them some synthetic, if that's what their choice would be. Inveric Biosciences is dedicated to developing novel neuroplastogenic therapeutics for treating depression, anxiety, and addiction disorders. These are essentially psychedelic-inspired compounds that offer the mental health benefit of psychedelics without the trip. Leveraging its unique discovery and development platform, Cyberry Inveric has created a robust portfolio of new chemical entities for specific mental health indications. In January 2025, Inveric announced the closing of a $10 million registered direct offering, which it said it intended to use for working capital and general corporate purposes. Next is GH Research. They're headquartered in Ireland. Recently, they had $150 million. Thank you, Lynette. Recently, they had a $150 million public offering. GH Research is researching the antidepressant potential of the drug mebufotenin. Mebufotenin. The molecule occurs naturally in several species of plants, and even, these are public companies, Sam, and even a species of toad. So GH Research is working on antidepressant potentials. Its lead product candidate is called GH001, and it's an inhaled form of mebufotenin. They have completed a phase 1 clinical trials, and they're in the middle of a second open label trial. Next, Mind Biotherapeutics, Australia. This is fantastic because these are companies all around the world, headquartered in different countries all around the world. Things are going to get legalized, guys. Mind Biotherapeutics is pioneering psychedelic microdosing to provide safe, effective, and scalable treatments for conditions such as depression, anxiety, and other psychological challenges. The psychedelic company's lead candidate, MB22001, is a proprietary form of LSD, which has been formulated for safe take-home use by patients suffering from depression and is currently being trialed in patients at home. Here you go. Take it home. We'll get a report from you soon. According to the company, its phase 1 and 2 take-home trials have shown that the medicine in small doses can be taken safely and effectively by patients in the community, subsequently allowing them to get on with their day with minimal disruption. And then finally, MindMed, headquartered in the United States. Gypsy wants him to ride a bike home. That's funny. That's really funny. MindMed was co-founded by entrepreneur J.R. Ron, who suffered from mental health problems and was interested in the Silicon Valley trend of improving focus by microdosing on psychedelic drugs. You know what they're doing over there at Google. The company is primarily testing the benefits of the hallucinogenic drug LSD with the professional supervision for the treatment of mental health conditions as generalized anxiety. They're treating ADHD, and they're discovering what potentials it has on the autism spectrum. Finally, the psychedelic drug market is poised for substantial growth, with an expected increase of $1.94 billion between now and 2029, which would mean an impressive compound annual growth rate. That's called a CAGR in the stock market. An impressive compounded growth rate of 14.3%. This anticipated surge is due to an increasing prevalence of mental health disorders, the gradual acceptance and legalization of psychedelic substances, and enhanced government programs aimed at mental health improvements. At the end of the day, they're doing work. At the end of the day. Now I'm going to keep track of the CEOs and how much money they're paying themselves. That'll be my next little mission. And if I can find that these guys seem pretty responsible about that end of the biz, here we go. Interesting information. Give me 5 people. It's interesting to hear what's going around the world, around the world, and all the different companies. And these are just the big shots. There's little shots in there too, doing stuff. And then these aren't even necessarily the research clinics like you see. Israel's huge in research. Czechoslovakia, huge. Switzerland, getting big. England, of course, Canada, Johns Hopkins, United States, Stanford starting stuff, Ohio State's offering that course. I mean, we're really doing stuff. Did anybody bring their bow and arrow today? Did anybody bring their bow and arrow today? Sin! I missed. At archery facilities, they have What's it called, the target? What's a target, an archery target called? The bale of hay with the target on it. What's it called? Come on. The target. It's definitely a target, but what, the bale of hay, what's it called? It's called a butt. B-U-T-T. It's a butt. An archery target is a butt, and then they put the target on it of whatever it is. But what they're shooting into is called a butt. Jesus Christ can do a lot with that one. At archery practicing places, they will put, they have a ditch, this big ditch. And in front of the ditches are the bales of hay or the butts. And they have the targets on them. And behind, in the ditch, are people who are responsible to report to the archer whether he hit the butt or not, whether he hit the target. So after the guy shoots, there's a guy hiding down in the ditch, and he'll pop up and he'll look at the target, and he'll yell out the score of what he sees on the target. So the archer knows where he hit. Okay? So picture that. Picture there's a butt and there's a ditch and there's a somebody behind there, and it's usually a fellow archer. You take turns, and that person is going to yell to you after you've taken your shot what you hit. He'll yell bullseye, he'll yell 3, 4, whatever the number of the ring, and he'll yell out sin if you missed completely. Your arrow didn't hit the target. Let me read this to you. In archery, the term sin is used to describe missing the target. Is that right, married Michael? Specifically, it refers to the act of an arrow not hitting the intended mark, whether that's the bullseye or any other designated area. This concept is also used metaphorically in some contexts to represent a failure. It's sin with an S, Streety. In some contexts, to represent a failure to meet a standard or a goal, particularly in religious or moral contexts. Literally, archery. It's simply a term that means the arrow didn't hit the intended target. That's its literal use. Its metaphorical use. The idea of missing the mark in archery is often used as an analogy for sin in a broader sense. In this context, sin can refer to any action, thought, or behavior that falls short of a moral or ethical standard. The Greek origin. The Greek word for sin, hamartia, which is also used in the New Testament, is rooted in archery, and it means to miss the mark. I'm spending a lot of time on this. Okay? Because the world didn't. Or whatever time the world spent on it teaching me, they taught me wrong. They taught me that sin meant I was bad. I'm bad. I sinned. And then everything that follows with that, the shame, the guilt, the hiding from yourself, the lack of self-image, so many things pile on with the concept of sin is because you're bad. Or you're bad because you sinned. And it gets overwhelming. And you carry it around in a place that you don't know what to do with it. And this is institutionalized thinking. This idea of if you sin, you're bad. There are basically 4 areas I look at in terms of where I want to be. I look at, do I sin in these areas? Do I miss the mark? I'm not talking about, I already know today, I haven't known this all my life. A lot of my life I believed I was bad. I was told that. Why wouldn't I believe it? We were told that we were born with sin. The old original sin stuff. We're walking sinners. You're sinners in the hands of an angry God. Bunch of sinners. We were literally taught to think poorly of ourselves instead of completely the other way around. I'm going to look at 4 categories I'm going to look at 4 basic categories. Do I miss the mark in these 4 areas? Attitude, action, neglect, or intent? Let me break those down to you a little bit. If I miss the mark in attitude, those involve negative internal states that I have, like pride, anger, envy, hatred. If I'm feeling those, I'm missing the mark. I'm not bad. I'm just missing the mark. The best part about missing the mark is nobody said you only get one shot. You can shoot again. And if you miss, it's not because you're bad. Just got to get your aim better. As long as you keep trying. As long as you keep trying. That's the key. Let me go to my miss the marks of action. These are things that violate society's commandments. Basically crimes. Things like lying, stealing, committing adultery, committing murder. Those are miss the marks in my action. If I'm doing any of those things, my actions are missing the mark. There's another area I have to look at, and that's the area of neglect or omission. These are the things that we failed to do. What? You can miss the mark by not doing anything? Yeah. Yeah, you can. I do. The sins of neglect. The miss the marks of neglect. These are things where we fail to uphold our responsibilities. We know to do better, but we don't. We fail to uphold our responsibilities. And then finally, we have intent. These miss the marks are malicious. They're intentional. I did it on purpose. I bullied. I gossiped. I did it on purpose with malicious intent. But I'm just missing marks, guys. I'm not a bad guy when I do any of those. I'm just missing the mark. And if I'd have been taught, you just missed the mark, instead of you're a slime ball, I might not have done as much cocaine. Let me go on. Are we getting a pretty clear idea of Pop's concept of sin? Are we getting a pretty good idea of Pop's concept of sin here? When we talk about being impeccable, we're talking about being, I am, without any of those things. Without intent. Ultimately, a sin is anything you do that goes against yourself. You have an innate human good nature. You were born holy. There's been huge philosophical discussions over the ages. Were we born holy, good? Were we born bad? Or were we born neutral and were shaped by our environment? I've come to the belief that I was born holy, then shaped by my environment to what I became. I was not born bad. Just the chances of being born, the chances of a sperm hitting the egg, what is the number? It's somewhere in the billions. I'm about as blessed as a star to even pop onto the planet. Just the act of my birth was holy. It was a gift of nature. And if we're so lucky to be here, and then I add in, you got a brother or a sister or three? How did you guys all get the same lucky situation? Your kids, they're miracles. They're not bad. They're only going to be bad when we make them bad, or we teach them wrong. That's the only time. They're born holy. That's my opinion. So if I'm holy inside at birth, the sins are the things that I do, missing the mark that I will, that goes against my internal holiness. My internal holiness. And you know it. You know it when you feel it. Some people call it a conscience. I call it my soul. My soul knows when I'm planning stupid stuff. My soul knows when I just did the right thing. My soul is the guy that pops up behind the target and yells, "Sin!" when I miss the mark. And the better I get at hearing my soul, the closer I'm getting to my holiness. A sin is nothing nefarious, bad. It's something that you did to hurt your holiness. It's something you did, and you gained your holiness. That's it. Is it going to stay there forever? Are you stuck with that one? No. No, because you're going to shoot again. You're going to try all over again this time. You could even go back and say you're sorry to somebody that you hurt. Say that's never going to happen again. That hurt me more than it hurt him. Because my soul's really sensitive now. You go against yourself. You judge and you blame yourself for everything. Being without sin is the exact opposite. Being impeccable is not going against yourself. When you're impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions. You recognize you're a human. You recognize you missed the mark. And you fix it and you take another shot. That goes along with being impeccable. Impeccable does not mean you're perfect and you're floating around on a cloud right now. It means you're listening to your soul. You're listening to your holy center. And when your holy center says you missed the mark, you fix it. You take responsibility for it. It hurts you so much you don't want to do it again. That's impeccable. I didn't say, never once said impeccable means I never make a mistake again. When you're impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you don't judge and blame yourself. You don't wallow in it. You pay the price because justice says pay once, and then you move on and take another shot. And I guarantee you, if you take responsibility for the one miss, hitting next time is a lot easier. When you don't take responsibility for it, but you just move on, how many people think you might repeat it? Now, it's an honest question. How many people think if I don't take responsibility for it, I might repeat it? And I might repeat it over and over and next thing you know, I've lost my holy center. You need to take responsibility. That keeps your soul sensitive. That keeps you knowing that you're on the path, that you are practicing impeccability. No practice is perfect. Stop it. Well, Pops, remember when you said you're impeccable, but I heard that you did. Yeah, I think I did. It was terrible of me. I was wrong. Will you please forgive me? My goal is to never do that again. That's still impeccable. I can't ever be impeccable. You couldn't be impeccable right now. Just be responsible when you miss the mark. The more responsibility you take for the miss, the less chance you're going to have of missing again. When you fought with your wife, and you went back and you said, "Oh, it's so wrong. Will you please forgive me? I'm going to work real hard at not doing that again, dear." She has a husband that's trying to be impeccable. Those sometimes are hard to find. They don't usually throw those out. And you don't deserve to be thrown out. You'll both grow together. From this point of view, the whole concept of sin changes. Right, Wazi? The whole concept of sin changes from something moral or religious to something more common sense. Isn't this common sense, you guys? Isn't this idea of sin just common sense? Without the guilt of religions and the interpretations of morality. That's the best part about this, is it's all so simple. It's boiled down. It just makes sense. The rest of it, it didn't make any sense at all. The closet and the list of sins and praying and dropping money in a collection box, it didn't make sense. What makes sense is when I can hear my soul. Sin begins with rejection of yourself. Self-rejection becomes the biggest sin that you commit. You start self-rejecting when you don't accept that you missed the mark and you have a responsibility. You will not experience self-rejection if you're taking responsibility for your actions. As a matter of fact, what you'll experience is a healthy pride, a growing self-image and self-love. You know what? I made a mistake, but I stood up. I took care of it. I handled it like an impeccable person should. And I have taken another shot. That's way different than feeling bad because I'm a sinner. In religious terms, self-rejection is a mortal sin. Impeccability, on the other hand, leads to life, leads to pride. It leads to mental health, wellness. We'll continue on this tomorrow. There's so much more to talk about. We're going to pound away on impeccability for the next couple of days. Reorganize your thoughts about sin. You're not a sinner. You're not. You just miss the mark once in a while. Take responsibility. Move on. Listen to your soul. Listen to your soul. Michael Patterson. Michael Patterson says, view life as a blessing, not a curse. This is a good way to do it. I'm blessed that I get a chance to shoot again. Not I'm such a crappy shot. I'm going to miss again if I do shoot. No, I don't think I'm going to. I took responsibility. I figured out what I did wrong on my last shot. I'm not going to do that again. Go have a great day, you guys. We'll keep talking about this stuff. There's nothing I'd rather talk about. Except for maybe growing a mushroom. This is it. Practice. Impeccability. Practice not taking things personal. I didn't say be perfect. Practice having no expectations. And do your best. Listening to your soul. Have a good day, Lynette. Lynette, the last few days you've had just some of the nicest comments. So much appreciate you. Nipper and Derek Anderson, Billy D. Nippy, you're awesome. Jesus Christ, and Michael Patterson, Sean T. Jesus Christ in Australia, Herbie and Mike Butterball. Billy D. Jesus Christ can hit the butt anytime he wants. Nipper HB. Mike Butterball and Jesus. Tony, good morning. Jeremy Carpenter. That's a good question. We'll cover that tomorrow. Mike Butterball, Herbie, Exception. There she is. Marky Z and Dawn. HB Sue Little, Herbie Von Worby Kabop, Mike Barabal, Jolie, good morning. Derek Anderson, thank you for this awesome morning. Carney the Carnivorous, Lynette, thank you. Cleany and Mike Barabal and Nippy and Kason Lee. Kason Lee, nice to see you here this morning. Tony, you're number one. John Zook and Higgs. Snap, my good friend. Married Michael and Marky and Jimmy Maxwell. And Dando, look at them. We're flying through this place. Who else is here? Paige and JCM and Gypsy Life. Have a great day. Hug Preston for me. He looks so great in that hat. Calico Kitty. Kimberly, have a great day. Jesus Christ and John Zook and Married. And Derek Anderson and Marky and Caddy Meowzilla. And Vagey, good morning, Vags. Freddie the Hinky Hinkleston. Jesus Christ and Danny Doe. Sarah Bear, Michael Patterson. Be Life, We Are Shanty. Jesus Christ and Nippy and Laura, have a divine day. Little Roy, Kason Lee, thanks for being here. Jesus Christ and Sarah Bear, Vagey. Wazzy the Wizzy Wazzer. Sammy P, Herbie, Derek Anderson, Married. Lucky Lures, you bet. HB, Freddie the Hink, Mike Barabal, Marky Z, Lynette, and Kason. You'll be alive, Kason. You're going to be alive. Pops, peace, love yourself. Out.